Hello, my name is Another Rant. I prefer to remain anonymous. I value my privacy. I'm starting this YouTube channel because I am disgusted with the current state of affairs in government across our country, with the conservative lunatic fringe. I have strong opinions about everything, and I think this is going to kind of be my therapy. So, a little bit about myself. I'm a veteran of the U.S. Air Force, 8 years. I'm kind of familiar with how the government runs because of that. I'm spiritual, but not religious. I believe in the golden rule: do unto others as you would have done unto you. It's kind of, that's the basis of my value system. I grew up at LDS in Utah, never bought into it from an early age because I'd like to think, because I think for myself. I was the kid in primary, there was a kind of school they had for the kids in the LDS church, and they would sing and say, talk about church business, and I was always the kid who sat there with their arms crossed, thinking this is stupid. So I just, yeah, but I still believe in something. I believe in being good to your fellow. I swear like a sailor. I think words uh, carry energetic power, and a cuss word here and there, I believe, is appropriate. Let's see, I could never run for office because I would get myself into trouble within a day or two because I would run my mouth. I wouldn't speak in euphemisms. Oh, my fellow colleagues our friends across the aisle, my ass. I couldn't do it. See, if I get nasty comments, I may or may not delete them, just warning you. I'm a tomboy. I like to prospect. I slingshot. Oh, brother. I'm fascinated with a lot of things that tend to be like male oriented. I guess I always have been. That's kind of my mindset. I wanted to be Batman when I was a kid. I had a coonskin hat, that sort of thing. And I'll make this quick. I'll wrap this up. But this is the first one, first episode. I believe in science, but I also believe in spirituality, and based on the research that I have done, I believe that spirituality, philosophy, ultimately do they are congruent with science. I think everything is science in the end. So so I might get a little philosophical here and there. I'm reading my notes here. Oh, I tell people, know your rights. Absolutely know your rights. study study the law. It's really helpful. For those instances where you might run across somebody who's abusing the law. I cannot stand authority figures that abuse their positions. I have a thing for that. I don't like it. I tend to fight back. The government is corrupt, but I still believe in it. I still believe it's necessary, and I think there's enough good people in government. And I think the Constitution was the people that wrote it, whoever they were, our forefathers, were absolute geniuses. Um, Unfortunately, you have the good, the bad, and the ugly, and everything in life, and it's imperfect. But I still believe in government, and I do believe that they have our best interests in mind regarding this pandemic. I'm not a professional. I love to write, though. I have 5 blogs on various subjects. I think political parties should be abolished because by default, it pits people against each other. There's a story about Dr. Seuss called The Sneetches, something like that. Basically, it's about how a simple thing such as having a star on your belly, as opposed to not having a star on your belly, can create division. So, dividing half the political or whatever population largely into 2 parties, it's just a setup for failure. So, I think political parties should be abolished. Let's see. I'm not conservative. I'm not liberal. I take what I like and leave the rest. So, that's kind of where I'm coming from. I hope I'm a reasonable person. And then the first thing I want to talk about here is, why are we where we are today politically? Simple answer: Democrats are pussies. Nancy Pelosi in particular. Early on in the Trump administration, she did an interview where she said, she was asked about Trump and impeachment, and she stated that Trump isn't worth it. And the first thing I thought was, well, are we worth it then? She said that he was unfit for office, then proceeded, to not even consider doing anything about him. It's bullshit. I wrote her twice and told her she's not doing anyone a favor by by being complacent. I really, really, really believe that this is almost like a parent-child thing. Kids need guidance. They need structure. They need boundaries. And we're missing parents right now. The Democrats are really screwing that up. They're like almost like the hippie parents. Nothing against hippies. Sorry, hippies. Um, and they've come across so weak. They need. I'm a strong believer in. See how I'm going to have to edit this part. They they need to have a sense of authority. They need to draw the line in the sand, and they need to hold it with no explanations. Like apparently with kid, we don't discuss it. These are the rules, and because they have failed to parent in a way, the conservatives slash kids are running amok. They push their boundaries. They push beyond their boundaries, and they're completely out of control. And it is because of the Democrats. Absolutely, nobody talks about this. uh, Regarding impeachment, the Democrats never should have allowed the trial to proceed as it did. McConnell, the first one, McConnell and Graham both violated the articles of impeachment regarding their oaths of impartiality. Both of them publicly stated that they were working lockstep with Trump. Disqualification immediately. Did the Democrats do anything? No, they let it happen. They're good at that. One of the attorneys, I can't remember which one, was a material witness to the Ukraine scandal. He never should have been able to represent Trump. Not to mention all the blatant lies that the attorneys, said on TV. I can't itemize them. They did. It was a sham trial. But guess what? The Democrats let it happen. Complacency. I actually even wrote to the ethics committee and asked them on what basis could they let that trial proceed as it did. Never heard back. So yeah, Trump is a con man. He's lived on the. He's before he became president. He lived far enough from. He lived and operated far enough from the spotlight that he was able to continue his con, but he actually bit off a lot more than he could chew when he became president. Because of the scrutiny, and still, unbelievably, because he surrounded himself by enablers. He's been able to get away with up to so far away with God knows how many crimes, God knows how many we don't even know about. I believe he is a Russian agent. He has a history going back with Russia by decades. I believe they have compromat on him. I believe the P tape exists. That's how they're not the KGB anymore. I forgot what their new designation is, but they basically have Putin is basically a KGB officer. Once KGB, always KGB. And their methods, that's how they do things. They get compromat on people, and then they use that to control them. Donald Trump is a dipshit, dumber than a brick. How anyone could believe a word that spews out of his mouth? It just mystifies me. I don't know. But Putin saw him exactly for what he was, a fool, easily manipulated, and a person with an inferiority complex. So they basically recruited him, helped him become president. I have zero doubt about that. I mean, how could anybody? Wait a minute. I think a quarter of the United States is fucking stupid enough to believe anything that comes out of his mouth. It's just an unbelievable situation. But yeah, it's gone this far because the supposed good guys, the Democrats, have been complacent. And they might as well be complicit. And until somebody steps up and shows some real leadership, this is going to get worse. These people, these conservatives, the QAnon people, the members of Congress, that obviously helped plan, January 6th. The whole thing was planned all the way up to the highest levels of government, including the Pentagon. Trump installed four loyalists in positions of authority at the Pentagon, and lo and behold, the National Guard didn't show up for hours after the riot began. I sat there on that day watching everything unfold on TV, and I was yelling at my computer over and over again. Where is the National Guard? Where is the National Guard? How is this happening? And it turns out that the National Guard was being held back by the Pentagon because because of the Washington D.C. status of not being a state. They had to go up the ladder all the way up to the topest rungs of government in order to get authorization to get the National Guard to come and help. So it's no mystery. The whole thing was planned, and I hope to God the DOJ is investigating this. The DOJ, the FBI. I personally believe they are. I think that there's a reason that they're keeping quiet. I actually believe that Trump has most likely committed crimes of treason that are so much worse than anyone could ever imagine. And I think I think it's so bad that when this stuff finally comes out, um, that Trump will more than likely be indicted for, I don't know if that's the correct word, tried for treason. I believe he's an agent of Russia. No, I know it. uh, yeah, in a nutshell, yeah, Democrats have been complacent. No one's being held accountable. That's why we are where we are today. We need strong leadership. We need someone who won't take shit. These people need to be taken to the proverbial woodshed and have have someone come, have the good guy, so to speak, beat the living crap out of their asses with the longest, thinnest hickory branch or whatever the hell kind of branch they use. They need to be taught a lesson. They need to be taught respect. And I haven't even gotten into the pandemic and all the bullshit that's going on. But that's it. I hope I made some sense. I hope I didn't ramble too much. First podcast, YouTube video, I'm not sure which. Leave your comments below. I guess hit the smash button. Smash the hit button. Whatever. So, and when I make an intro, I'll keep it short. I can't stand long intros. Take care. Get vaccinated. Wear a mask.